Three perfectly concentric rings of massive sun-baked mud brick rise directly out of the Mesopotamian floodplain, forming a flawless, mathematically precise circle nearly 2 miles wide. This is not a city that grew by accident. It was drawn into the dirt with a giant geometer's compass by the Caliph al-Mansur, explicitly designed to be the exact center of the Islamic Empire. A perfectly round fortress with 4 massive iron gates pointing toward Basra, Kufa, Syria, and Khorasan, drawing the entire wealth and intellect of the earth inward like a colossal gravitational vortex. You are standing in the Abbasid capital of Baghdad. The era is the early 9th century, under the reign of Caliph al-Ma'mun. We have discarded the exaggerated Orientalist fantasies of magic carpets and genies. Using advanced AI trained on the detailed geographical treatises of al-Yaqubi, the surviving architectural dimensions of the round city, and the vast catalogues of the medieval translation movement, we are going to plunge directly into the absolute intellectual zenith of the medieval world. We are going to experience the suffocating, chemical stench of the paper mills, the aggressive, high-stakes theological debates of the royal court, and the ruthless, state-sponsored acquisition of global knowledge. Step into the true golden age of Baghdad. The morning call to prayer echoes across the flat, brown waters of the Tigris River, blending with the deafening roar of the harbour. You are a mutarjim, an elite master translator and scholar. You have just returned from a highly dangerous, multi-year expedition to the hostile territories of the Byzantine Empire. You stand on the wooden planks of the main docks, overseeing the unloading of your cargo. You did not bring back spices, silk, or gold. Your heavy wooden chests are filled with something the Caliph values far more. You have brought back original rotting parchment manuscripts of Aristotle, Galen, and Ptolemy, purchased, negotiated, or outright stolen from the monasteries of Greece and Syria. The harbour around you is a chaotic sensory assault. Massive wooden dhows, their triangular lateen sails stained with sea salt, are unloading porcelain from Tang Dynasty China, raw ivory from East Africa, and heavy furs from the frozen rivers of the Rus. You hear a dizzying collision of languages, Persian, Greek, Aramaic, Sanskrit, and Arabic, shouted over the rhythmic thud of dockworkers' bare feet. The wealth of the world flows through these docks, but you bypass the commercial bazaars. Your cargo belongs to the state. You hire a caravan of mules and walk toward the Khorasan Gate, the eastern entrance to the round city. The security is absolute. You pass through a deep, dark, vaulted tunnel built into the outer wall, heavily guarded by Khorasani mercenaries wielding curved swords and wearing chainmail hauberks. You emerge into the first ring, a densely packed military and administrative zone. You continue inward, passing through the second wall until you reach the vast open central enclosure. At the exact center of this 2-mile circle stands the Golden Gate Palace, topped by a towering green dome that can be seen for miles across the desert, standing right beside the monumental Great Mosque. But your destination is a sprawling, unassuming complex of brick courtyards and shaded colonnades located just off the royal precinct, the Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom. Before you deliver your manuscripts to the scholars, they must be prepped. You walk to the industrial quarter, bordering the river, entering the paper mills. This is the dirty, heavily guarded industrial secret that powers the entire Abbasid intellectual explosion. The technique was recently acquired from Chinese prisoners of war captured at the Battle of Talas, but the Arabs have industrialized it on a massive scale. The smell here is horrific. The air is thick with the stench of rotting linen rags, old hemp ropes, and caustic lye. Hundreds of workers are standing waist-deep in stone vats, using heavy, water-powered trip hammers to relentlessly pound the rotting textiles into a thick, wet, fibrous pulp. The pulp is scooped up on wire meshes, pressed flat, and hung to dry in the searing Mesopotamian sun. They are manufacturing a material that is incredibly cheap, lightweight, and completely replaces the heavy, expensive animal skins of parchment used in Europe. You watch as the dried pages are rubbed with smooth glass agates to create a flawless, glossy surface that will not bleed ink. The noise, the sweat, and the chemical burns on the workers' hands are the gritty reality that allows the empire to mass-produce books. With fresh paper secured, you return to the House of Wisdom. You do not walk into a quiet, dusty library filled with whispering monks. You walk into a loud, aggressive, highly competitive academic war zone. The courtyards are packed with Muslims, Nestorian Christians, Jews and Zoroastrians, all funded directly by the caliph's treasury, working side by side. You carry your Byzantine manuscripts into the translation halls. The process here is agonizingly precise. You watch a famed Christian scholar, Hunayn ibn Ishaq, working at a heavy wooden desk. He does not translate word for word. He reads a complex Greek medical text on anatomy, translates the concepts aloud into Syriac, and then another scholar immediately translates the Syriac into precise, scientific Arabic. There is an intense, obsessive drive to absorb the knowledge of the entire human race. The Caliph al-Ma'mun has issued a standing royal decree. Any scholar who successfully translates a foreign book of science, medicine, or philosophy into Arabic will be paid the exact weight of that book in pure, solid gold. You place your heavy Greek manuscripts onto the scales, watching the royal treasurers balance them against glittering gold dinars. You are made instantly wealthy, but the knowledge you just handed over will alter the course of human medicine. By early afternoon, the heat inside the city walls becomes a crushing weight. You seek the deep shade of the Souk al-Warakin, the market of the stationers. This street is lined with over 100 distinct bookshops. In an era where a single book in Europe might cost the equivalent of a sprawling farm, here in Baghdad, books are accessible to the middle class. You walk past merchants selling complex astrolabes made of polished brass, designed to track the stars and calculate the exact direction of Mecca. You see mechanical water clocks, treatises on optics, and volumes of poetry. The air smells heavily of boiled ghoulnut ink, leather bindings, and the sharp scent of roasted lamb kebabs sold by street vendors. You pause near a mathematician sitting on a rug in the shade of an awning. He is using a smooth wooden board covered in a thin layer of fine dust. With a wooden stylus, he draws numbers in the dust, calculates a complex equation, and then quickly wipes the dust smooth with his hand to start again. He is an associate of Al-Khwarizmi, the chief astronomer of the House of Wisdom. They are finalizing a revolutionary new mathematical concept. They have taken the numeral system from India, including the radical concept of the number 0, and are combining it with Greek geometry. They call this new method for balancing equations algebra. You are watching the absolute foundation of modern mathematics being sketched into the dirt of a bustling market street. As the afternoon progresses, you leave the markets and visit one of the city's major Bimaristans, the hospitals. Baghdad's approach to medicine is centuries ahead of the rest of the world. The hospital is not a place where the sick go to simply wait for death. It is a true center of healing and empirical science, completely free to the public, funded by charitable endowments known as waqfs. You walk through the wide, ventilated corridors. The hospital is strictly segregated by disease. You pass the ward for eye diseases, where surgeons are performing incredibly delicate cataract removals using hollow, specialized needles to suction out the opaque lens. You walk past the pharmacy, smelling the potent mixture of crushed camphor, myrrh, and distilled rose water. Most remarkably, you pass the psychiatric ward. Rather than chaining the mentally ill in dark dungeons or accusing them of demonic possession, the physicians here treat mental illness as a physical imbalance. You hear the soft, melodic playing of a wooden lute and the gentle splashing of indoor fountains, deliberately designed to soothe the patients. The doctors walk the halls with groups of medical students, observing symptoms, taking detailed notes on paper, and completely rejecting superstition in favor of strict clinical observation. By nightfall, the brutal heat of the day shatters, replaced by the cool, sweeping wind off the desert. The city of Baghdad transforms. The oil lamps are lit, casting a warm, flickering glow across the millions of baked mud bricks. You are summoned to the inner sanctum of the Golden Gate Palace. It is time for the Majlis, the evening salon. You enter a sprawling, opulent reception room. The floors are covered in thick, priceless Persian carpets. Intricately carved wooden screens allow the night breeze to filter through. Reclining on silk cushions is Caliph al-Mamun himself, but he is not holding court to review taxes or military campaigns. He is hosting a theological and scientific war. The Caliph is a fierce patron of the Mu'tazila, a rationalist school of Islamic theology that believes the Quran was created in time and that human reason and logic are the ultimate tools to understand the divine. You take your seat among the greatest minds of the empire. Servants pour iced, heavily sweetened fruit juices flavored with musk and ambergris, cooled by massive blocks of ice brought down from the Zagros Mountains, wrapped in felt. The debate begins. A philosopher argues aggressively with a traditionalist cleric over the nature of free will and the eternal attributes of God. An astronomer presents a new calculation for the circumference of the Earth, proving it by measuring the angle of the sun across the flat Syrian desert. The voices rise, the arguments are sharp, brilliant, and completely unrestrained. The Caliph leans forward, entirely absorbed, occasionally interjecting to challenge a logical fallacy. The intellectual tension in the room is electric. You are witnessing a society that possesses an absolute, unshakable confidence that faith and science are not enemies, but twin pillars holding up the exact same truth. Late into the night, the Majlis concludes. You step out onto the high, fortified terraces of the palace and look out over the sleeping city. The Tigris River reflects the light of the moon, cutting a silver ribbon through the dark, sprawling metropolis. Beyond the perfectly circular walls, the fires of massive merchant caravans twinkle in the dark, preparing to carry the books, the astrolabes, and the medicines you helped translate to the furthest, darkest corners of Europe and Asia. 400 years from this moment, the Mongol armies of Hulagu Khan will breach these walls. They will slaughter the population, burn the palaces, and tear down the House of Wisdom. The historical accounts will say that they threw so many millions of books into the Tigris that the river ran black with ink for days before running red with blood. But as you stand under the blindingly clear, starry sky, calculating the angle of the North Star, you know that the Mongols will be too late. By the time the walls fall, the translations you made today, the algebra calculated in the dust of the market, and the surgical techniques perfected in the hospitals will have already escaped. They did not build their legacy in monumental stone pyramids or indestructible concrete colosseums. They built their empire on fragile, flammable paper. But by capturing the accumulated knowledge of the human race and forcing it into a single, brilliant, circular city, they ensured that the light of the ancient world would never be fully extinguished. This video is brought to you by the Paladin Learn History app. Scan the QR code to learn more history.